them. What did sweeping this Toronto team show you about the Cavs?
Well, it was a transformation. LeBron mentioned it there, and as far as the season being maybe 4 or 5 seasons, I had said yesterday and last week it was 3 seasons, but he's saying 4 or 5 seasons based on training camp was a season itself, LeBron being hurt, the first part of the season, between the first part of the season getting to the All-Star break, the trade, after the trade, and now the postseason. But in the 7 games against the Pacers, and it was a matchup thing, but it was also a confidence. Who was going to support LeBron James? The Pacers, I think, Nick, you had this number. They had 7 guys averaging double figures in the first series. 7 games. LeBron had Kevin Love barely at 11 points, the only support that he got. No contributor to LeBron on his team and the Cavs getting 20 points in those first 7 games. But in this series against Toronto, only 4 games, they got 6 players in double figures. LeBron still playing at a unbelievable peak level, but LeBron still needed a buzzer beater to be able to beat Toronto, even with this support. And with that support comes confidence moving forward. So I was wrong about the Cavs. I thought the players would continue playing. Nick was like, they can't continue playing like this. They will snap out of it, and they did. And we saw that in the 4 games.
And I thought they'd snap out of it. I didn't think they'd go from collectively playing their worst basketball, the non-LeBron Cavs, to collectively playing their best basketball. Like that, I thought they would maybe water would find its level.
There would be a transition.
A transition, that they would eventually things regress to the mean, but they're now over their skis somewhat in the level Kevin Love's playing, the level George Hill's playing. That's higher than I anticipated they would be able to get to.
But is it really higher? Maybe because of the dip and they were playing so bad, but this is the George Hill I expected. When they traded for George Hill,
you're right.
This is the Kevin Love that we've always expected, especially absent of Kyrie Irving. He was very, very comfortable playing, being the second guy compared to being the third.
Maybe I set my expectations a little too low because of how bad they were in the first round. But you're right about LeBron. LeBron in the first round, 34, 10, and 8. LeBron in the second round, 34, 8, and 11. So a few more assists, couple fewer rebounds, but he's doing the same. Like, his shooting percentage is almost identical. The difference is, of course, the supporting cast. And the reason that's relevant is because, much like I said yesterday, LeBron was rewarded in the shot against the Raptors being single covered for a decade plus in the league making the right basketball play. LeBron in the second round was rewarded for consistently trying to get his teammates back into it in the first round, for not throwing them under the bus, for still going to open shooters even when they were clanging it off the side of the backboard, because it allowed them to stay engaged. And while he didn't need his teammates in round 1, except for a 3-minute stretch in Game 7. And I think they could have beaten the Raptors, not a sweep, but could have beaten the Raptors without his teammates in round 2. You're going to judge LeBron by championships. People are going to judge LeBron by, at the very least, getting to the finals. They're not going. He knew, I can't win 4 playoff rounds by myself. I might not be able to win 3 playoff rounds by myself. Might be hard to win 2 playoff rounds by myself. So if I do not keep these guys engaged and do not continue to show faith in these guys, our season's going to end. We just don't know when. And so I give the players credit for hitting their shots and LeBron credit for sticking with them.
This isn't the kind of thing where sports pundits were like, hey, the role players aren't playing. There was a Saturday Night Live skit, which reaches like a different societal level. Like, my parents were, are there other people that play besides just LeBron James? Yeah, those are the role players who didn't play in the Pacers series, who decided they were going to show up and play in this series. Do we just assume this is going to be the same core group of guys, the same guys Ty Lue starts, the same guys, the way they play as they move on now into the Eastern Conference Finals?
Well, I think George Hill, and George Hill missing part of the Pacers series was a huge problem. We expect George Hill being a veteran player. He's very, very dependable. As far as his overall ball handling, it helps LeBron get a little bit of a rest. Kevin Love embracing the 5. Ty Lue making some hard decisions as far as things that he was doing.
That being one of them. He didn't want to embrace the 5.
I expect the Cavs to continue on this because Kevin Love, 20 points, 12 rebounds, that's not outside of his talent level. The confidence they were able to gain in winning that 7-game series against the Pacers All right, because LeBron talked about it, the coach talked about it. It got them ready for a lot of different things. It got them ready for the ball pressure that they would see from Toronto, had them more ready for that than they thought they would have been. But it also, in not playing well, it breeds confidence when you're able to come out of it. So see JR get 20, to see Kevin Love to be able to snap out it, Jeff Green be able to make a contribution. Yes, I believe this is the Cavs team we'll see going forward.
And this series erases everything that they left on the table in the regular season. And by that, I mean this. When you get the 4 seed instead of the 1, 2, or 3,
that's a good point.
Your first-round matchup's tougher. And so guess what? It took you 7 games. And when you go 7 games, then all of a sudden, when now, because you're the 4 seed, you're playing the 1, that now you're playing every other day. LeBron talked about that before the series. We're the only series that doesn't get 2 days off. So all those things that because they had been not great for 89 games, you're the 4 seed. You don't have extra rest. Well, now they're going to have more rest than anyone in the playoffs. They're the first team to advance to the conference finals. They're going to be on the road against Boston in the conference finals. That's a comfortable place for them. That is exact place they were in last year. They'll still, most likely, steal home court from them in the first game of that series. And so that's what the Cavs were able to do. I want to mention one thing about what the Raptors did, but go ahead, see. You look like you would.
No, I just thought it's the irony to where the Cavs are, the way that started off 2 weeks ago. Golden State, how many games have they lost in the playoffs?
Golden State has lost 2 games in the playoffs.
Houston, how many games have they lost?
They've lost 2 games in the playoffs.
And the Cavs are done round 1 and the semifinals. They only lost 3 games.
They've lost 3 games.
But they're done.
Right.
But you would think
that is, right now, Golden State and Houston here are the best records in the NBA playoffs so far by winning percentage. Golden State and Houston, 7-2. I'm sorry, 6. No, that's correct. 7-2. Cleveland, 8-3. Those are the 3 best records in the playoffs. Those were the 3 teams that by the midway point of the year you probably thought were going to be the best teams. The losses came in a different order, and so it feels different, but it's about right for where it should be.
Before we move on, just quickly, what happened to Toronto in this series?
Well, I can give you an idea of what happened to Toronto. I know people want to fire their coach. We'll get into that. Yeah. I understand that the Cavs have now won 10 consecutive playoff games against the Raptors. But let me just show the audience. We haven't done a blind reveal in quite some time. This is LeBron James compared to somebody. So in this series, LeBron 136 points to 138, a 5% better field goal percentage, almost identical rebounds and assists.
I think I got this one.
Who do you think it is?
I think it's the backcourt of Toronto.
Well, let's show America. Who is it? It's both of them.
That's what I'm talking about.
There you go.
That's what I know, my guy.
Well done.
Okay.
I mean, so that's what happened to them.
That is amazing.
That's their 2 All-Stars.
That is amazing.
That's your 2 guys. And LeBron had almost identical numbers at a slightly higher efficiency rate. LeBron's great. He shouldn't take the place of 2 All-Stars, your 2 best players. That's what happened to Toronto. They knew individually neither one of those guys was going to outplay LeBron. But for LeBron to outplay them collectively, that's how you get swept.
Yeah, and I don't like to use what they say LeBron is in Toronto's head, but it's clear he's in those 2 guys' head.
Absolutely.
No, Valanciunas actually said it afterwards. He's like, I don't get it. I don't get how somebody could just have that much control over us, and we went in and we didn't play our game because we were just stuck in this mindset that LeBron James is going to beat us, and that's exactly what happened. All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.